I had to give it a couple days to digest and really figure out how I feel about the new Gixxer before I made a video, because I am admittedly a massive Gixxer 1000 fanboy. I'm a massive Suzuki fanboy. I am the core demographic of that bike. I love the Gixxer. I love the feel of the Gixxer. I love all of the Gixxers. I love them. I really do. So, for my opinion, how do I feel about the 2026? And I'm going to go over, as an owner of a 2022, what differences there are and my opinions on where they've gone wrong, and would I say that this is a good bike or not. For starters, yes, it's a good bike. It's a Suzuki, it's a Gixxer. The thing's never going to die on you. You can do whatever you want to it, and I'm sure that that thing is going to run like a tank. It's one of the huge selling points of these bikes and Suzukis in general is that you cannot kill them, okay? And this one was touted as being for endurance racing, meaning that you're going to beat the hell out of it for 8 hours straight. Pretty impressive when you think about it. Neither here nor there. Now, how do I feel about the Gixxer, the 2026 Gixxer 1000? Couple things I've noticed that I don't think I've seen others point out, and this is just a visual to me, but you have the winglets, which I'm a huge fan of winglets, right? I'm no stranger to saying that I love a gaudy looking bike. I want my bike to be as, you know, even though I always black bikes, or I think 6 of my last 10 have been black. I love black bikes, but I love a gaudy bike. I love something that just kind of punches you right in the nose. I love something that looks different and is flashy in some fashion, and winglets are great for that. And winglets really do just kind of make a bike look nice. And I'll pull up in the parking lot over here just to kind of show what the best part about winglets is to me. And this goes for the Aprilia, this goes for the S1000, this goes for the S1000R, this goes for the Yamaha. The Kawasaki doesn't have them yet, but just so I can pull up here and show you what I mean by about just a kind of gaudy, mean look on winglets, right? I wish I could see my gears. I'm so used to being able to see them when I record. So y'all are gonna see me shoot for first a couple times in a row every time. But the Gixxer has optional winglets, which I already don't like that. That's a really bad thing to me, because it means it's going to be expensive. It's going to be, let's say the price of the Gixxer stays the same at like $18,500 because it's the Gixxer 1000R. It's going to be an additional $500 minimum dollars, right? So here's what I'm talking about with the winglets. And I know I have the super view on, so I got to get a little closer. But if you can see, and hopefully this will show, with the bars, so with the actual bars, right, they are perfectly in a line. It's mean looking. With the headlights, it creates an X shape, right? So you can kind of see it looks sick. I love the winglets. People hate them on the R1s because they're so massive and gaudy, but that's a selling point to me. So back to the Gixxer, and I don't clean my bikes, so back to the Gixxer. How do I feel about the winglets? Optional, stupid. That's just dumb. It's going to be an additional $500+, I'll call it right now, for something that is tiny, and winglets are they're form over function to begin with. So when you just kind of give it like a little, waxed mustache look, it doesn't do it for me. It's not a huge fan there. But the difference here, and this is something I haven't seen anyone else point out yet, is to me the fairings on the new Gixxer look skinnier. It looks like a skinnier bike. The Gixxer is a very wide bike, fairing wise especially. The face of it is very wide. If you've ever sat on one, if you've ever ridden one, if you go look through my old videos, right, the plastic through here, it's a wide bike. So it looks skinnier to me. From every picture I've seen, the roads are wet, so you're gonna see me being real gentle out here. But it's a gentle, it is a much sleeker looking bike, in my opinion. as far as my eyes can tell, it's going to be a skinnier bike. It's going to be a little more narrow, which that's a good selling point, and I think it's going to look really, really, really good in person, because one of the negatives to the Gixxers is that width. When you see one in person, it just kind of looks like a fat pig bike. It doesn't ride like one, but mental is a huge part of, you know, bikes and everything, right? So that's a huge plus. The new colorways. I love painted rims. The 2022 gray Gixxer, which I had, is still my favorite looking Gixxer ever. It is the best looking Gixxer. I'll argue that forever. And none of these beat it. They don't. The red and white's my favorite. I love the white rims. I love painted rims. I am a huge sucker for any special color rim, right? They speak to me. But it's not, it's too what's the word here? It's too, not gaudy, because right, I love that. I love flashy, annoying. It's too retro, I guess you could say. And I know 40th anniversary, that's kind of what they're going for, but it's too retro to throw on a modern bike. It's not like the Yamaha, who have done like their white and red, or like the Kawasaki, the blue, green, and white. To me, it's just gaudy, old looking, right? It's kind of like if you go in your grandmother's basement type of old, versus the Yamaha, who does an exceptionally good job with their old colorways. The Kawasaki, which I didn't personally love for some of the same reasons, but in my opinion is still a more unique looking than the Gixxers. So on that front, man. Now, onto the actual bike itself, because something people are not, a lot of people don't know, a lot of videos don't quite know the old Gixxer as well as they think they do. Ride-by-wire is nothing new on this bike. The old Gixxer had ride-by-wire, okay? Nothing new about that. The Suzuki is very unique in that its ride-by-wire it's a ride-by-wire, but it's also set up like an old throttle cable. So the actual throttle tube is adjustable, so you can adjust the free play in the throttle, which I think is genius, and I think every bike should have it. But it's still ride-by-wire, meaning it could have had cruise control. Does it get cruise control? Nope. Why does it not have cruise control? Suzuki has some of the best electronics on their bikes, and it just doesn't, they didn't add cruise control. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. It's such a just lazy cop-out to not add cruise control when you have it on your other bikes. And it's like, for the endurance racing especially, I know that you're not going to use it for that, but when you're touting it as an endurance bike, to anyone in the West, endurance means long distance. Sport bike's not long distance, but cruise control, long distance. That makes a huge difference in how far you can go on a bike, especially a sport bike, and especially a Gixxer with a really, really buzzy engine, right? That buzziness is what kills your hands. It really fatigues you over time. And the fact it doesn't have that is just crazy to me. Crazy. So a huge, huge, huge miss there in my book. But the next big miss is going to be the new electronics that they're touting. And that's going to be the updated lift control, the updated 6-axis IMU, all of that. I know that the Gixxer was dated in terms of its electronics, and I am a massive, massive, massive electronics and traction control and everything fan, right? I love it. I think it's one of the greatest parts about modern motorcycles. I think that it is just wonderful across the book. I mean, just across the board. There's nothing better than modern electronics on a bike. But I love the Gixxer's electronics. The traction control was a reactive traction control system, right? If you were on the lower end of it. I like reactive traction control because it's still telling me, the rider, when I fucked up and to never do what I just did again. Okay? Proactive, which is a meaning that it is going to react. Can I turn around right here? Yeah, I'm at the right spot. Proactive means that if I am a newer rider, I'm never going to get the feedback that I just about killed myself. Okay? Reactive, it's going to scare me. You know, your butthole's going to clench a little bit and you're good. Completely 100% proactive traction control, which is what they're touting this one is going to be more dangerous for newer guys on bikes. And I will stand by that. And it's great when the newer you are, but when you're selling it on a 1000cc sport bike, you need to know when you have fucked up, in my opinion. right? So like this one, I have the lift control on one. If you saw back there, my front wheel came up a little bit. It doesn't let me just fully go off the world, but it still tells me like, hey, you went too hard, you hit that throttle a little too hard. That's how traction control, that's how electronics on a bike should be on a 1000, in my opinion. It should not be predictive, it should be a reactive to show you that you have fucked up, don't do it again, okay? That's a huge miss in my book. I loved the traction control on the Gixxer because it wasn't overbearing. It wasn't too aggressive. It was just a very good, consistent, right? That's another big thing with electronics. How consistent is it? It was always consistent. I never once, I knew when my traction control was gonna go off. I knew when something was gonna happen. There was never any surprises with that system. So, to be seen with the new one, of course, but I'm not impressed. It's not a selling point to me. And it was a misunderstood negative on the older bike, in my opinion. So, that's how I sit there. Now, here's the next big one, and this one pisses me off. I love the TFT, not the TFT, whatever you call it, the Casio watch, the Gixxer 1000, my 2022. That is my favorite display on any bike I've ever owned. BMW second place, but I absolutely adored that tack. It was the most busy looking bullshit on the planet. The menu was hard to flip through. You couldn't memorize what was on that menu, right? If I had to go back on the Gixxer right now and go through the settings, I would still have to Google what some of the things were. It's not intuitive for shit, but I just loved it because it had everything. I mean, literally everything right on the dash. Problem. I love it, but if you're making a brand new bike, it just shows laziness. It is just pure laziness. And the thing that annoys me even more about it is that Suzuki's TFT on their bikes that they brought TFTs to is one of the best looking on the market, right? It's not like Suzuki's got shitty TFTs that they are embarrassed of putting on this bike. Their TFTs look, I would put them in the top 3. I mean, they look incredible, right? If you go hop on one of their newer bikes that has one of the Suzuki TFT displays, it looks wonderful. They do a really good job with the layout. It shows what I want. It's a good color. It doesn't reflect off the sun. No bullshit. Why would you keep it? It just shows laziness. It just shows lack of giving a fuck, in my opinion. Which I know is Suzuki's model and so on and so forth, but it disappoints me. As a huge Suzuki nut rider, right? It disappoints me. So that's where I sit there. If you've never owned a Gixxer, that should not be something that sways you away from it. But if you are a hardcore Gixxer fanboy, in my opinion, I don't think that I think what I'm saying holds weight is that it just shows laziness. It just shows, it's kind of a slap in the face, honestly. So there's that. Take that for what you will. It really is. If you're really wanting a Gixxer, that display is honestly incredible. It's a really, really good display. But you know, don't let that sway you. Just know that's my opinion on it. Now, next is going to be the internals on the engine. It's going to be the higher compression ratio, which I'll be honest with you, I looked up all of this to try and make sure I understood it, and I really don't. So I'll keep my opinions here as vague as possible. So, new engine internals, right? We'll leave it at that. Hold on one second. Road. Always makes my nose itch. New engine internals. What are the new engine internals? So it still keeps its variable valve train, and it touts a better, more usable, road-friendly / powerful mid-range. Why the fuck does the Gixxer need a better mid-range? The Gixxer out of the 1000s, the Ducati, the Panigale V4, and the Suzuki GSXR-1000R are the strongest mid-ranges of any of the 1000s, bar none. I will put, no one holds a candle to them. Nothing will punch you in the nuts like those two bikes, right? Nothing. It didn't need a stronger mid-range. That is a complete and utter cop-out to trick people into thinking that they've done something beneficial to them. I will guarantee you that you will not notice a fucking difference in the mid-range of that bike. I promise you. The mid-range on the Gixxer, and that's why it's such a strong roll race bike, and that's why it's kind of the roll race king, so to speak. It's so fucking good already that making it stronger is just worthless, right? That front wheel is going to come up. You can't really make it much better because that front wheel wants to come up so easy already. It's dumb. It's a bad selling point. Sure, maybe the power band will hit like 2K lower in the RPM range. Who knows? To be determined, but it doesn't do shit for me. I think it is a really bad selling point that is just made to try and trick people that don't know any better. Okay? That's where I sit there. Now, for everyone who's going to say, oh, well, the new internals, right? The whatever the fuck, the 13.7 or the 0.2 bigger crankshaft or whatever means it's going to be a tunable monster. That's cool, but I don't give a fuck. And this is something that I don't like when people say that a bike needs to be tuned, right? I've mentioned this in my videos reviewing bikes. Like, I think I've only done like one bike review, but I don't like when people's immediate response is that a bike needs to be, you have to tune it to be able to get the full bike. To me, that means it's a shit bike. You shouldn't buy it off the showroom floor, right? Why would I buy a brand new bike that's going to come with no warranty, and when it blows the engine because whoever tuned my bike fucked up the fuel, I'm having to pay, I'm out the door $20K? It's stupid. I don't like that at all. In my opinion, that is one of the worst things that people have accepted as a reality for modern motorcycles, is that, oh, you just got to flash it and it'll be okay. No. Buy the one that doesn't need to be flashed and that you can ride it while you have the warranty, get it to however many miles you're comfortable that you feel like that engine is going to last, then flash it, right? It's stupid to me. It really is. And that's something, like, people say this on the R1 all the time, oh, you got to flash it to get the full power. This bike is not the most powerful 1000 by any stretch of the imagination, but it doesn't need a flash. There's no dead spots in this bike. There's nothing in this bike that needs a flash, right? It doesn't, all it's going to do is make it more powerful just across the board. I really like this bike. It's grown on me. It doesn't need a flash. The ZX-10, the one that is famously the most neutered from the showroom floor, that bike didn't need a flash by any stretch of the imagination, right? Surely it will become exceptionally more powerful. It'll have a much broader range. It will run less lean down low. Off the showroom floor, that ZX-10 pulls like a fucking mule, right? It's not a weak bike off the floor. It's just a fucking beast of a bike all around. Same with the Ducati, the S1000R. That one I have heard mixed things. I won't go into that one just because it's all speculation from some guys I know that race them. Leaving that one off the table. Everything else, right, it comes from the floor, like the Gixxer 1000, the 2017 through 2025, it comes off the showroom floor and its mid-range rips your face off. It buzzes like shit. It feels like a just nasty machine. That's what it should feel like. That's what a bike of that caliber and that price range should feel like, right? Now, one thing that they did note in this with the new internals is that supposedly it's going to be a less buzzy bike. That's huge. That is huge. That is my biggest complaint with the Gixxer 1000, is that it is very buzzy and very, very buzzy. I don't think I've ever ridden a bike that was buzzier, to be honest with you. And it's limiting, right? It makes you tired. It will numb your hands. It will numb your ass. It will make you have to piss, right? It vibrates your entire body, and getting rid of that, great, wonderful, 10 out of 10. I'm really hopeful that they're able to do that, and that alone could make this a huge selling point for this bike. But why are you doing this? Why are you making it a better endurance bike, a better long distance super sport, or super bike, whatever my European friends like me to correct myself to? Why are you doing this and not putting on fucking cruise control? Defeats the purpose. That is just right. I know that I just can't get it. I can't get it. This is my problem with the Gixxer. I love the bike. I absolutely love the bike. If someone gave me one tomorrow, I'd ride the piss out of the thing. I would be just the happiest man on the planet if you gave me one tomorrow. Would I personally, as a massive Gixxer nut rider, go buy the 2026 over the 2025? No, I would not. I don't see a reason to, right? I do have a hunch that in person it's going to be a skinnier, nicer looking bike than the previous generation. I just visually, the fairings to me look skinnier. I could be wrong there, but it looks like it's going to be a skinnier bike. But does it get me out of my house into a dealership to go buy one? It doesn't. And that is such a disappointment to me. If they had gone and done a little bit more in terms of the I've seen some people say that they should have, like some comments saying that they should have leaned more into the roll racing, which the Gixxer, like the previous generation, whatever, current generation, is kind of just famous for at the moment. They should have leaned into that. I agree. They should have tried to find their niche. And their niche is that the Gixxer is an exceptionally capable bike off of the showroom floor. Okay? The suspension on the Gixxer is better than any of the others under 20K, bar none, right? It's just better. It is. It is the one bike that, in my opinion, I could buy off the showroom floor. I could recommend to someone off of the showroom floor, and they could run that bike like hell on a track, right? It's the one. Okay, everything else, there's some tweaks that I think you'd really want to do to really make it a true track bike. The Gixxer, she's ready, right? Until you're at an exceptionally high level, she's good. That bike is built to be fucking beat on. I mean, it's the one. I don't get it. So, will I be buying a 2026 GSXR-1000? Currently, no. Am I impulsive and that could change when I see the red colorway in person? Maybe. Doubtful. Let me know what you think. I know everyone and their mother is putting out these videos right now, but I had to throw my hat in the ring just because I am such an obnoxious Suzuki fanboy that it felt like I needed to, you know, right? What good am I if I don't throw one in there? So anyway, let me know what y'all think about the new 2026. Let me know if you think I'm an idiot, because I imagine a lot of you will, and that's fine. But don't be blinded. And I know, again, the Suzuki guys are, I get it. They have one of the most diehard, just kind of, whatever the word would be, loyal fan bases, where they could do the minimum change and people wet their pants. I mean, it takes nothing for Suzuki to make its fans happy and to make its true nut huggers just ecstatic about the new machine. For myself, maybe I'm not as big of a Suzuki fanboy as I thought. It disappoints me in a lot of ways. If I was buying a bike right now, and I'm in the States right now, then this isn't available in Europe, I would be buying a 2025. I wouldn't wait for the 2026 personally. That's just me. So, let me know. Thank you for watching. That's it.